Welcome to Morning Java, brought to you by Get Go Cafe and Market, where they have fresh brewed espresso. I don't know if you knew this or not, but they have an Italian espresso machine there. You can get that thing hot, you can get it iced, you can get it frozen.
Yep.
There's all kinds of things you can do with that, Matt. So that's a great thing to do. Go out and get yourself a nice coffee to get your morning started. Matt, Pitt got the week started with a lot of great moves over the weekend. What, 9?
Yeah, nine total verbal commitments for the Panthers. It was a busy Father's Day for the staff, and they kind of had a feeling this was going to happen because they had more than a dozen kids on official visits coming in, a lot of them from out of state. And, just after the first domino fell, it seemed like every hour almost a new one was coming out. Went all the way to 9 o'clock was the last one. Brandon George, linebacker from Eastern PA, was the last one to commit. But, across the board, all these kids are pretty much, solid 3-star. A couple of them in certain services are 4-star kids. It's a good core group for the Panthers. No superstars of note. At least we don't know that.
Aaron Donald was a 3-star player.
Exactly.
He's the best defensive player in the NFL.
Le'Veon Bell from the Steelers.
Yeah.
Went to Michigan State, was 2 or 3 depending on how you look at it. So you never know with these. But the big thing for the Panthers is after a long stretch of people questioning what's going on, other schools are getting going with recruiting, Pitt's not. Well, they answered that with a pretty big weekend.
Yeah. But we're just trying something a little bit different today. For those of you wondering why we're sitting out here on the deck, it's a nice morning, and we figured we'd enjoy our coffee and sit around the table like we're actually sitting at the get-go. Anyways,
Yep.
Matt, you're going to have an opportunity later today to sit down with a legend.
Yeah.
And if you're reading or if you're watching this now, come back later on this afternoon. Matt's got a one-on-one interview with Dick Grote. He's going to go over a lot of stuff with Dick Grote, most notably Jeff Capel.
Yeah, you got a Duke guy talking about a Duke guy that both now here at Pitt in their respective roles. It's nice of Dick to take some time out. I'll be heading out to his golf course, Champion Lakes, later today. Hopefully this beautiful weather holds up really all week for everybody, but it's going to be nice to get a chance just to talk all things basketball with him, talk about Pitt, talk with him a little bit about just his whole career, his life, because if you didn't see, last week he was awarded a proclamation by the city of Pittsburgh. They named it Dick Grote Day, so that's all the more reason. That's why we're heading out to talk with him.
The guy might possibly be, if you're looking at in terms of total overall athlete, maybe the greatest athlete in Pittsburgh history.
Yeah,
baseball, basketball. I mean, he's
for just all around excellence. I think it's hard to go against a guy who played in both the NBA and Major League Baseball.
Matt, you got another big match this weekend for the Riverhounds as we sit here over top of their field. They head to Charleston, South Carolina this weekend. What's going on with that game?
Yeah, well, they're going to be out here training pretty soon later this morning. They've got the Charleston Battery, which is always a place, and that's one of the foundation teams of USL. They've been around since even before the Riverhounds, going 25 years back in the league. And it's a tough place to go. I mean, it's always hot, humid in Charleston for one thing, but also they usually have a strong defensive team. It's sort of similar to Highmark, and it's a nice, compact stadium. Good atmosphere for a game. And the Hounds historically, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think they've only won there maybe a handful of times ever in 19, 20 years of going down there. So it's going to be a tough matchup for them. What makes it even tougher is they're going to have 2 and 4 days. They're going to fly directly from Charleston up to Louisville, where they're going to play the team they're tied for second place in the Eastern Conference with, the defending champions, Louisville City. So those are 2 tough road games, and the good thing for the Hounds is they almost feel like they're playing with house money after getting the win 3-0 against New York here this weekend. That's, really put them in a good spot in the standings, and, they're playing with confidence. So anything they can get on the road here, whether they can get a couple of draws, maybe win one of the 2, that's going to really, be a good road trip for them.
Well, we'll see. Matt will have the coverage from those games. You can read that here on DKPittsburghSports.com.
Dale, we finally got some good news from the Pirates front. They put away a series over the weekend against the Reds.
Yeah, this is one they really needed to do. They come back off that long road trip, win 2 out of 3 against the Reds. They hadn't won a series in almost a month.
Right.
So they really needed to get something going. They need to kind of turn things around. They did get back to 500 for the one day. Now they're back. They dropped back under 500 with the loss on Sunday. But I think the big news of the weekend was Neil Huntington kind of chastising the fans for not coming out to watch his team.
Yeah, and that's always the big catch-22 with the Pirates. They say they need the fan support to put money into the roster, but the roster hasn't shown a lot to get the fans out there either. And so I don't know if I like Neil Huntington necessarily going after the fans, especially on just recent history of the last 3 weeks. Like, how are you going to get on the fans from a discouraging run of performances? What does he expect?
Yeah, it's a really tough situation. I understand they need the money, the revenue to spend. They bring in the players, but at the same time, they're getting revenue from the league. Win. That's the bottom line. If you win, people will come out and see the team.
Just win, baby. It's like the Raiders said, right?
Absolutely.